Hello friends, today we talk about the nutrition in plants, that is the first chapter of class 7th. The process by which a plant takes in food that gives it energy and materials required for the growth, maintenance and repair of the body is called nutrition. Like the other organisms, there are two modes by which a plant derives nutrition to support itself. These are autotrophic and heterotrophic modes of nutrition. Firstly, we talk about the autotrophic nutrition. Mostly, the plants make their own food by using simple substances from their surroundings are called autotrophic. But this simple sentence, that is, plant make their own food, arises many questions in our mind. That is, in which part the plants make their food? What do plants need to make food? And how will they be able to make their food? But don't worry, I try my best to clear your confusion. The first question is, in which part the plants prepare their food? That is, the plant make food in their leaves. The second question is, what do plants need to make food? That is, they need raw materials, that is, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water. These raw materials are supplied to them from different sources. Carbon dioxide is supplied by air, while water is taken up by the roots from the soil. The energy to prepare food comes from the sun. The third question is how the plants make their food. It is through the process of photosynthesis. Now I explained you briefly all about this. As we know, plants make food in their leaves. The leaves of a plant are arranged in such a manner that each one of them can trap sunlight. The structure of a leaf is flat and thin. This enables the sun's rays to easily penetrate and reach the inner layer of the leaf, where the process of photosynthesis takes place. The cells of green leaves and young stems of plants contain numerous green-colored structures called chloroplasts. The green color is because of the presence of a green-colored pigment called chlorophyll, and the light is captured by the chlorophyll pigment present in the leaves. Like this, the carbon dioxide from the air reaches the plant cells through tiny pores called stomata. Stomata are the tiny openings present mostly on the underside of the leaves. These openings are surrounded by the guard cells. The leaves take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen through these stomata. Thus, the process of photosynthesis starts with the trapping of sunlight by chlorophyll. Sunlight is trapped by chlorophyll and chemical reaction takes place in the chloroplast, in which carbon dioxide and water are converted into food in the form of glucose. It is this glucose which provides energy to plants. Oxygen is released in this process. Thus, in simple, the carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight gives the plants glucose plus oxygen. The food synthesized in this reaction is transported to all the parts of the plant in the form of sugar with the help of a network of tubes called phloem. Therefore, Photosynthesis has a direct relation with the survival of all living beings on the earth, as oxygen is the most essential requirement for all living organisms to breathe and survive. And this requirement is met by the photosynthesis process in plants. Now, I tell you about a term variegation. The appearance of different color patches in the leaves is the variegation. That is, it is not necessary that leaves containing chlorophyll will always be green in color. Sometimes there are certain red, brown, and other colored pigments that are present in large quantity. These pigments mask the green color of the chlorophyll. Photosynthesis, however, takes place in such leaves too. Plants also prepare proteins in order to meet their nutritional requirements. Protein synthesis requires nitrogenous substances, which are present freely in large quantity in the air. But this free nitrogen cannot be used directly by the plants. It is converted into a usable form through a process called nitrogen fixation. It is all about the autotrophic nutrition in plants. Now, take a look on the heterotrophic nutrition in plants. As there are some plants which do not contain chlorophyll and hence cannot prepare their own food. These plants are heterotrophs. They depend on autotrophic plants or other animals for their nutritional requirement. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition in plants have further types, namely parasitic nutrition, symbiotic nutrition, and saprophytic nutrition. If we talk about the parasitic nutrition, there are few non-green plants that live on the body of other organisms and derive nutrition from them. These are parasitic plants. The plant on which the parasitic plant grows and derive its nutrition are known as host plants. For instance, there are various bacteria and fungi that live on the surface or inside the body of other living organisms and feed on their food. Parasitic plants, on the basis of their dependency on the host plants, are divided into two types: total parasite and partial parasites. Total parasites. Total parasites are totally dependent on the host plant. They ultimately kill the host plant from which they derive nutrition. In some plants like cuscuta, chlorophyll is totally absent. Since these plants cannot prepare their own food, they take the ready-made food from the host plant. Therefore, they are categorized as total parasites. The next one is partial parasite. In some plants like Mistelotoi, even though chlorophyll is present, they still depend upon the host plant. They prepare their food but depend on the host plant for water and other nutrients. These plants are categorized as partial parasites. Mistletoe can be easily seen growing on trees like teak, mango, and chiku. There are few plants that eat insects and digest them. Such plants are categorized as carnivorous or insectivorous plants. For example, the pitcher plant trapping its prey. In the pitcher plant, the leaves are modified to form a pitcher-like structure. The apex of leaf forms a lid over the pitcher. This lid can open as well as close the mouth of the pitcher as per the need. There are hairs present inside the pitcher that are directed towards the base. When any insect sits on the pitcher, the lid closes. The trapped insect gets entangled in the hairs present inside the pitcher, and the digestive juices present inside the pitcher help in the digestion of the insect. The next type of heterotrophic mode of nutrition is saprotrophic nutrition. There are few organisms that derive their nutrition from the dead and decaying animals and plants. These organisms are known as saprotrophs. Most bacteria and fungi belong to this category. One common example of this is the fluffy umbrella patches that are seen on the surface of wood during rainy seasons. That is, the mushrooms growing on the surface of wood. The next type of heterotrophic mode of nutrition in plants is the symbiotic nutrition or symbiotic relationship. There exist certain cases in which two organisms live together and help each other to survive. This kind of relationship between two different organisms in which both benefit each other is known as symbiosis. The individual organisms that are involved are known as symbionts. One common example of such association is lichens. Lichens are an association between two organisms, that is, an alga and a fungus. Alga is an autotroph, while fungus is a saprophyte. The algal component prepares food, whereas the fungal partner absorbs water as well as minerals and supply it to the algal component. Thus, both alga and fungus are mutually benefited by living together. Now, I summarize the whole topic I tell you in this video. First of all, in this video, I tell you about that like other organisms, plants also take two modes of nutrition, that is autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition, which make it easy to understand the whole topic. After that, I tell you about the autotrophic nutrition in plants. In the autotrophic nutrition, I tell you about that plants make food in their leaves by the process of photosynthesis using raw materials, sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. There are also some specific terms like chlorophyll, chloroplast, stomata, xylem, phloem, variegation, etc. Next is the heterotrophic nutrition in plants, having three types, that is parasitic, symbiotic, and saprophytic nutrition. In the parasitic nutrition, the few non-green plants that live on the body of other organisms derive nutrition from them. Parasitic plants further of two types, total parasite and partial parasites. Total parasites dependent totally on the host plant, and the partial parasite are dependent partially as they have chlorophyll and they prepare their own food also. Next, I tell you about the carnivores or insectivorous plants that eat insect and digest them. Example, pitcher plant. The next type of heterotrophic, I explained you saprotrophic nutrition, and the next is symbiotic relationship. In saprotrophic nutrition, the organisms derive their nutrition from the dead and decaying animals and plants. Example, mushrooms growing on the surface of wood. And in the symbiotic relationship, the organisms live together and help each other to survive. Example, lichens. Thank you friends. May this video help you.